Hello, everybody. Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Just Bleed Radio. Today is Sunday, March 10th, 2024, and this is the Weekend Roundup. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Lazybed, and this is the Weekend Roundup. On today's episode, we will be covering the remainder of the events that the fights rather, that we did not get to on the full-length JBR episode, as well as some of the ongoings from the Francis Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua boxing match, and Cedric Doumbe, and the ongoings of the PFL event over the weekend. Joining me today will be my usual co-hosts, Dangermouse and Austin.
So I guess that means we're on to Felipe Lins defeating Ion Cutelabra by unanimous decision.
Yes.
29-28 across all three judges' scorecards. No controversy. For me, there was Lins just landing leg kicks was the main thing I noted on the fight, apart from Cutelabra landing some vicious illegal downward elbows in the third round to the back of Linds's head. But yeah, Linds's calf kick story of the fight for me. Landed 20 in total. And I'll let one of you add a bit more depth to it than that.
Let's see. We have two light heavyweights that are not the best light heavyweights. They are just, perennial guys that are just outside the top 15. In this case, Ion longer than Felipe Lins because Felipe was a former heavyweight who won the PFL tournament and then came over and dropped to light heavyweight soon after arriving and has been hit or miss ever since joining the UFC. So he really needed this win, whereas Cutelaba has been a guy that we all looked at and thought, if he just got his shit together, he might be good. But again, he looked a lot better in this fight. He looked controlled, looked, poised, looked like he was in a good headspace. And for some reason, he just can't seem to put it together. Even when he's controlled, he seems to kind of forget where he's at or what he's doing, as is the literal. And Mouse, it wasn't even to the back of the head. It was literally to the neck, like to the rear of the spine. Like he literally just was bent over in front of him. And instead of hitting his ribs, his shoulders, anything, he just chose, all right, well, that's exposed. It's 12-6.
Mike Beltran was after it, repping it. Was it Beltran?
Yeah.
He jumped in straight away, didn't he? Like, this is your hard one. And, do that again.
Yeah.
I'm making a point, which was pretty decent, I guess.
Like, oh yeah, because it's like, dude, what are we doing here? Like, you could literally do anything else. You can, not anything, but still, like, what are we doing here? But neither here nor there. Lins deserved the win, won it. It was a hard fight for Lins too because Cutelaba was actually pressuring a lot and landing, but
he never let really signs out that his legs were battered to death. He did keep pushing, but I think the commentary commented on it, saying that he was putting enough pressure on Lins that he wasn't throwing the leg kicks, which is, a good move because I don't think you're going to take that many more, quite frankly.
No.
And of course, Joe Rogan was doing his usual go fucking crazy over the leg kicks.
We all love a good leg kick, though.
I think Joe Rogan's got a calf fetish.
He might. He honestly might.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really got a whole lot to say about this fight. I don't think there's a whole lot that needs to be said. Cutelaba has got to be the worst guy ever to bet on if you're actually betting cash on fight. Like, if it's a Cutelaba fight, don't put no fucking money down on it because you don't ever know who's coming out. Sometimes the guy looks like a total destroyer, and other times it just looks like he's completely lost in there. Heavy leg kicks by Lins. The leg was chewed up, fucking destroyed. There was some nasty bruising and swelling on there. Just a couple of light heavyweights doing light heavyweight things. It looked like a fight. You could have seen that fight on any LFA CFFC or any regional fucking fight card. You know, of all the fights on this entire event, I would say that this one probably more than any of the others was a space filler. It just felt like they tossed fucking two dudes in there because they needed another fight. Like there was no storyline, no premise, no point, no reason. But
maybe Gamrot and Dos Anjos as well for that role.
Yeah. At least in that case, though, you had some name value. Like,
yeah, RDO always brings it some attention. At least the next fight coming up that we'll be talking about was entertaining for as long as it lasted. Not to mention an entertaining entry by Michael Pereira, doing a little bit of dancing. I didn't know we were watching the WWE, but apparently we are now.
It's his special, more or less.
Is what? Sorry.
It's special, like the thing that he does.
Is it? I don't always watch the entries because if I watch the next day, as I did like last night, I just skip straight through to the fight usually. I'll miss a lot of that crap. But yeah, Pereira versus Oleksiejczuk. I'm not entirely sure how you say that one. It's a very difficult name.
I think it's
Oleksiejczuk.
Yeah,
Oleksiejczuk.
Okay. Just edit that in whenever I say it. I'm just going to say Michael from now on, even though both of them are called Michael or some variation thereof. I mean, pretty short fight. One half decent kick, and then Pereira followed it up with a kind of nice straight step through right hand. You could see the pain on other Michael's face, and then Pereira was all over him, sank a choke in, and sent him to sleep. A possible threat at 185 in the future, I would say, if he can keep his momentum going.
Yeah, certainly. Not a whole lot on this one either. But I will say, good on Pereira for finding a home. It seems at this weight class because for a while he was having some struggles down at 170.
Yeah, he missed weight a few times, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, and the guy, he's pretty big even for 185. So I don't know how the fuck he was making 170 the few times that he did manage to. But yeah, dude looks like a fucking monster at middleweight. He's running through guys left and right. Great finishing ability. Big personality. Obviously, a hell of a dancer. Yeah. So, not a groundbreaking win, but a win nevertheless. Made it look easy, and there are some people who are high on Oleksiejczuk. So, yeah, good job, Pereira.
All right. Let's see. He missed weight at welterweight, I think by 5 pounds in his last fight at welterweight against Wonderboy, which didn't even end up happening. And like you guys had said, he had missed 2 or 3 times before that. So here's the thing. He is massive at middleweight. He dwarfed the last 2 guys he's fought at middleweight. And this dude has been making 15-pound additional weight cuts on top, like before that. So it's just insane to me why he wasn't even actually brought into the UFC as a middleweight. And for some reason, they thought him being a welterweight was a good idea. Whoever his coach or, training team is, that's insane to me. Because look at how easily he's dispatched his last 2 middleweight fights, right? I think his fight time as a middleweight inside the UFC so far is less than 5 minutes. Like, I think it's even less than 5 minutes. I think it's like less than 2.5 minutes, I think. But whatever. It's not here nor there. Realistically, this is the weight class he should have been in when he first came into the UFC. He is a fucking monster. He is scary. And that is a man that I would like to see fight any other middleweight. Give him 5 more middleweights. He'll probably run through them pretty goddamn quick.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I mean, I could see him main eventing a fight night card very easily.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's middleweight, so it's not hard to do.
Yeah.
It's exciting as well. Like you say, it brings good energy.
Oh, yeah. 100%. I think he's still young, too.
Him and Izzy can have a dance-off before they fight.
We'll see.
Then I guess next is
Yeah.
Robelis de Spain, because they've Europeanized or Americanized his name, against Josh Parisian. 18 seconds of round one. Who wants to describe what happened? I even
Isn't
made
he
a little.
Cuban?
I even edited a little meme for it, so maybe Dave will throw it in the
Yeah.
on screen while we're talking about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say if people want to know what happened, they can go watch basically the entire fight in Dangermouse's meme.
Pretty much, yeah.
No, that's
Oh,
100% correct.
fucking comical to say the least. Like to be that large and to have that amount of power, to where
Yeah.
you're literally backpedaling and you fucking knock a guy's head off. Like that, dude, his head was reverberating when he showed the slow-mo. Like you could see the seismic waves fucking going through Parisian's head. I remember talking about this guy a couple months ago when first getting wind that he was coming into the UFC, and all the talk around what was at the time claimed to be the longest wingspan in UFC history, which I heard them on the air last night. They disputed it that it might actually be 84 inches, so it's tied with Jones.
All right.
Either way, that's incredible. And actually, I'm remembering right now, I got a dead wrong myself in them, because Case Stacks said several months back that Semi Schill, who once fought in the UFC, had a longer reach than either of them. So yeah.
Yeah, he was over 7 foot too. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Or
Kickboxing.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he was. He was damn close. 6'11", 7 foot. But yeah, so Despain, yeah, Cuban, bronze medalist in Taekwondo. Lots of hype coming in. Way more hype than he has fight time.
Honestly.
Yeah, just came in. I think did
He's
what
averaging like 19 seconds or something stupid, isn't it? At the minute.
absurd. I think if you add up all of his fights, he's probably under a minute or around a minute. But yeah, it's fucking. We didn't really get to learn anything, but I don't think this was about learning anything. I think this was a showcase, and they fed the beast.
An introduction.
Basically sent a lamb into slaughter, and we all got to watch.
Quick and painless.
That's so accurate because it's Josh Parisian. Yeah, pretty much the same. There's nothing you can really add on top of it. The only thing I would be like, you just, as long as they don't put him in the Almeida situation, just let him get a couple wins. Just no rush against contenders or anything like that. Hell, just literally find more Josh Parisians. Give him guys from the contender series. Give him guys who are literally coming off the street. You need names in heavyweight right now, and why rush another guy that's not ready for it? Just literally give him the wins.
That seems fair. He did have the second fastest debut in UFC heavyweight history, I heard. So I'm not sure who got the first.
No.
The fastest debut. So obviously that has to be under 18 seconds. I haven't checked Tom. I know Tom's very good on his records.
Maybe we'll get one of our trivia heads that listens to chime in the comments below.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. I'll send our editor scuttling off into the stacks to dig it up. But yeah, future opponent for Tom, I guess. Just as I was thinking, the heavyweight division was looking very nice and soft for Tom. This freak of nature comes in. I'm hoping it takes him a few fights to get through to the top of the division.
Yeah.
So I think anyone's going to have trouble against the arms like that. And he's obviously, as you say, he fell backwards and still managed to knock the bloke out.
Yeah.
Just some sick result there. So I guess that gets us to not the opener. I was going to say the opener, but Asu Almabayev defeating CJ Vergara by again unanimous decision, 30-27, all three judges.
I believe this gentleman Asu Albayev, Alambayev. I don't know why it's that one's struggling. It's hard for me, but regardless, this is a stablemate of Shopcott. So they both train in the same area in the same camp. So it
know
was
that.
good. It's pretty good. That means that region is now actually starting to get guys inside of the major promotions, which is not something we had before or prior. So
Yep.
now he is a flyweight, so his road to the title might be a lot shorter. CJ Vergara, a guy that's not completely a nobody. I mean, he's more famous for running around in a circle after being hurt. So, good showing, good fight. I feel like he still has a lot to learn. He was eating some shots from Vergara, and honestly, Vergara was actually giving him a lot of resistance in the grappling department too. So, wouldn't mind seeing him against a couple more guys before we even decide if he's a contender yet. Just because he's from that region that happens to produce a lot of talent, doesn't mean that he's ready for the top guys yet. And there's plenty of guys for him to fight in this division. Only time will tell how good he is. But good start.
Yeah, this is another one. These early ones I didn't really take much notes on. I wasn't paying much attention to. I was kind of getting myself situated for the night. But from what I did catch on this one, yeah, well, basically what Austin was saying. Good to see a younger prospect coming out from the same region of the world. They fucking build them dudes tough over there. I'll tell you that. Tough living, tough life. I think this was the guy that they were saying he has 4 kids, and he looks like he's 12.
Yes.
So yeah, I said in the chat, if you've got 4 kids in Kazakhstan, you're a fucking tough motherfucker, no matter what. So yeah, I don't think it was the most impressive or eye-opening win, but nice W. Good to have another prospect coming out of that region of the world, and yeah, training with Shavkat, that's never gonna hurt.
No, absolutely not. I know DC was quite impressed with his wrestling because he was saying he wasn't. Every time Vergara tried to move different direction, Almabayev would just let him go that direction, and it's like, yeah, when you get there, I'll have something waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
But not being even a wrestler in school, because we don't do that here in the UK. I can't say anything about it.
You know who?
Yeah, it looked good wrestling to me from what little I know.
High school wrestling standout. No special might be able to come on this.
Yeah, no, DC's right. There is a point of, being able to counter grapple from what the positions that were given from Vergara. Like, he's good. Don't get me wrong. I think he could be better than what we've seen. I think it's one of those things where it's like, this was his debut, was it not?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah.
Nine takedowns as well he got in the fight.
Yeah, I think he just had some UFC jitters, and I think that was the thing. So we're looking at hopefully this guy just being able to round out the rest of his game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, fuck you, CJ Vergara, for being the one guy on the card that missed weight. You fat bastard.
Oh yes, he was. Yeah, I
Yes.
forgot about that.
Not that it matters.
Well, it didn't
1
this
pound.
time. Small
yeah.
amount, I guess, but it's still missing weight.
Somebody said that he could have cut off his hair and he didn't.
Yeah, it might have been enough. You never know. I guess it's then onto the opening fight of the night. Joanne Wood defeats Marina Morez by split decision, 28-29, 29-28, 29-28. Really, really pleased for Joanne Wood here. Obviously, she's a British fighter. Always like to see him do well. And it was a retirement fight. And it's not very often, most retirees go out on their shield. And she didn't. She managed to pull it back. Had a couple of distinct moments where she was trying to imitate Meatball Molly, landing back, spinning back fists. I think she landed one in the first round, and then almost finished Moraz in the third round with another one that landed really, really flush. So yeah, very, very happy for her. I know Dave did some research. Our editor Dave did some research on Moraz, so perhaps he'll post his research on the video for the show. We'll see. But yeah, I had Moraz Wood taking the first round, and then Wood just came back and managed to snatch the second round, and then obviously cleaned up, sealed the deal with that spinning elbow in the third round.
It was a nice throwback style moment and win for Joanne Wood, or Calder Wood, whichever one you want to call her. Obviously, very well trained, well schooled, married to John Wood, one of the top coaches in MMA. I feel like she never quite fully reached her potential. If I'm not mistaken, at one point in time, she challenged for a title, or was going to challenge for a title.
She was lined up for one, and then I think she had to drop out, or Shevchenko dropped out, whichever one it was.
Yeah.
She never got a crack.
So yeah, I mean, when she first came in, she was very highly touted. Great Muay Thai skills. When she was known as Dr. Neville, just seemed like an all-around sweet person and a class act. Never heard anything bad about her from her opponents or her contemporaries. But had a pretty nice fairly long career in the UFC, despite having her ups and downs. General success, I wouldn't say that she's amongst the greatest to have retired from women's MMA, but she had a commendable, solid career, and just seems like an all-around good person. So happy trails, Joanne Wood.
Yeah, no. I don't think you could have asked for a better performance considering the circumstances, who she was fighting against and where it was. Good for her. I mean, she's had a tough road, and it was against Jennifer Maia that she lost to, because she was going to go fight for the title after that, but I think they needed her to fight one more person, and Jennifer Maia got the shot right before that. So right after that. So it is what it is. Fortunately, but good way to close out her career on a win. Unfortunately, it was in front of an empty arena at the time, so she put in a good performance. Good for her.
Ayo donks, we appreciate your viewership and we love you all tuning in, but unfortunately we got some bills to pay around here, so hang tight and bear with us as we cut to a word from one of our sponsors.
Well, hey there, folks. Jethro P. Tubbs here, and I'm coming to you today on behalf of a product that I not only swear by, but a brand I can really put my foot in. I'm talking, of course, about Kraus brand tube socks, designed specifically for the blue-collared working man. With their patented moisture-wicking fabric, Kraus brand socks can prevent any nasty staining or odors, and the proprietary cotton blend technology molds to your feet and leaves these puppies looking like they could practically stand up on their own. Don't worry about pesky frequent washing. The antimicrobial nature of the sock means that you'll never have to worry about foreign matters or substances soggying up your tootsies. Call today and upgrade your order to the brand new Thug Nasty Camo print and have all shipping and handling fees dropped. Their prices are so low, they're almost flat. You can't even see the curvature. So don't call now, but right now, and place your order to try Kraus brand tube socks today. The best socks money can buy, and that's a guaranteed bet.
Speaking of which, we all, I guess, needed to take a break at some point because we had the PFL and the boxing. So which one do you want to talk about first, the boxing or the PFL event?
I'd say we finish with the boxing and we'll go to the PFL because there's not a whole lot to say on it.
Yeah, that's defeat by Splinter, the first ever one in the record book. TKO by Splinter. That's absolutely hilarious. For anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, we're on about PFL where Doumbe fought. I can't remember the name of the guy he fought, to be honest. But that's PFL for you. But yeah, Doumbe got into a fight. I think they're into the second round. And then at some point he was gesturing down at his foot. And Mark Goddard, the referee, was having none of it and telling him to get back fighting. And then the guy who was fighting was stepping back and going, "Look, his toes knackered." And then the next thing, Mark Goddard was in, saying, "That's it," waving his arms at him. "No, tough luck, son. The fight's over." I know what Aaron Bronstetter said on the matter, and that was what I was going to reference on this. But I don't know if either of you two wants to jump in and say something about it.
I feel like that. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Actually, yeah. Finish up your thought.
No, I was more or less finished up. I was just saying I've got Aaron Bronstetter's notes when I can find the bloody things. But yeah,
Well,
Bronstetter was saying that, he's done a few refereeing courses, and he's. Oh, there we go. I found his actual notes there. There we go. With some time to digest the unfortunate result of the Cedric Doumbe fight, here is my in-depth takeaway. It says he's a long-time fan and supporter of Glory, so he hasn't got any bias. And secondly, I've taken multiple MMA refereeing and judging courses in order to be as well versed on these subjects as possible. With that in mind, I can confidently say that Mark Goddard followed protocol to a T, having watched back the fight's final sequence many times. Anyone who feels otherwise feels that Goddard should have operated with information that he could not possibly have known or processed in the moment. At no point in a contest can a fighter call for a timeout. That falls under the timidity section of the referee's guidelines. So, by all accounts, Goddard did everything he was supposed to do. And I know some people aren't very happy about it because Goddard isn't necessarily the most popular referee at the moment, having had a couple of slightly dubious decisions. But I haven't heard anyone say that. I think Mike Heck, well, Lazy, I think you were listening to Mike Heck last night, weren't you?
yeah.
Yeah, he was saying that he thought there were other things Goddard could have done, but at the end of the day, he followed protocol.
Yeah, I mean, that was basically going to be my point on this whole thing, is that, like, is there another way he could have handled it? Meaning Goddard? Sure. Did he handle it the way he probably should have handled it and doing it by the book? I'd say so. First of all, that's not a scenario that you're going to run into very often, if ever. And Goddard, as we know, is one of the most experienced referees on the UFC's roster of refs. So he's seen his fair share of strange freak occurrences in the cage, and I think even he was caught off guard by that. Did Doumbe handle it the right way? It's kind of iffy, and I have a lot of questions myself going into this. Like, first of all, when did it get in your toe? Did it happen at that moment when he initially brought it to the attention of Goddard, or did it happen prior? How long was that object in your toe? If it's in there and you can take the moment to pause and talk to the referee, and your opponent pauses too, and it's just a splinter, grab the motherfucker and pull it out. Like, I feel like there was so many different ways that it could have been handled, but I don't think ultimately that the blame should fall on Goddard. I think Goddard, if he's guilty of anything, he was a bit too maybe hasty and aggressive in his stopping of the fight. Like, it made him seem kind of like, nah, I got time for this bullshit. But I mean, what are you supposed to do? And I seen a close up on the toe afterwards, because of course they were doing toe cam where they were zoomed in on his toe after the fight. It was sticking out, whatever the object was, wood or whatever it was. It was sticking out a fair amount. You could have grabbed that and pulled it out. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So for me, you're asking. There's no other good way to stop a fight when you have a splinter in your toe. Nobody knew he had a splinter in his toe until after they looked at it after the fight was over. There's no good way to do this, right?
Yeah, you can't see it sticking out of his toe into the middle of the cage or anything.
Yeah. Like, even if you do the thing where you do the protocols and you follow everything, there's still the issue of actually stopping the fight and then restarting it, which I think that once the fight is officially stopped, you can't restart it. So I think they were looking at a no-win situation anyways. Right?
Yep.
But doesn't the question comes up in my mind though? Like, and I think it was Casey Lott on MMA Fighting brought this up. They stop fights all the time to do silly little things like cut a piece of tape off of a glove or pick up a mouthpiece and rinse it off. Not that putting a mouthpiece back in is stupid, but they'll stop it to rinse it off before they put it back on in the mouth. So they do stop fights temporarily for little things. I think the issue really came from, of course, Doumbe's got a mouthpiece in, so he can't really clearly communicate with Goddard to begin with. Despite speaking English, this isn't his first language. This isn't his native language. So you got all these problems, and then it's not quite as simple as just stopping the fight to snip a little tape off the glove. They probably would have had to bring a doctor or someone into the cage.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets a little bit iffy, and that's kind of like officially stopping the fight, and you can no longer restart it. So my only hope is that this does get switched from a TKO loss to a no contest.
Yeah, that's what Aaron Bronstedt to finish with. That ultimately the result of the fight can still be overturned by the commission on appeal. But Bronstedt finishes with Goddard followed his guidelines as well as he could have in a bizarre set of circumstances, which I don't think anyone really has much to disagree with, apart from the Goddard haters.
No.
MMA guru will no doubt be all over him. Those two don't seem to get on.
No, of course not.
Yeah, didn't Goddard accept a fight against him on the MMA On Point channel?
I think they offered to get him in and have a discussion, and Guru said, "No, I'm not going in there, so he can choke me out or tear my arms off or something." Goddard's a very big fella when it comes down to it,
and well trained. I said, and well trained.
Yeah, he's done a fair amount of jiu-jitsu and various other things.
Yeah,
I don't know if he had a pro record like Herb Dean, but certainly he's been around enough gyms in his lifetime. So, do you want to talk about the boxing, Austin? Because I don't think you can really say much on this one.
No, the last thing I'll say on the PFL is that it looked like a fun event. Apparently, it was live on YouTube, so I completely messed that up. I didn't know that was a thing because I only catch the highlights on YouTube afterwards. So
that was a complaint I had. It was live on YouTube, but not in Europe. So I actually had to use Opera VPN to watch it, and then the reception was terrible. So I gave up on it in the end. I only saw the last fight, which is fortunate.
It looked like a fun event. But
yeah, I watched the highlights, and there were plenty of decent highlights.
Yeah, that'd be the only other thing I could say about it. But nah, it's par for the course for the PFL. Why not, add more to it? As far as for the boxing, yeah, Francis Ngannou got to live out his dream of becoming a world, elite heavyweight fighting a champion. Not for a belt, but he fought two actual champions. Two of them, then both of them were undisputed at one point. There's nothing good to say about this performance. This was the thing that Stacks had said it himself. This is what everybody expected in the Tyson Fury fight, and because Tyson Fury wasn't prepared, he made Ngannou's abilities seem greater than they, I guess, actually were. And this fight is just what should have happened to begin with. Although, to be fair, Tyson is not a power puncher. Anthony Joshua is a great fighter, and this just proves it. He fought an older, slower fighter in Ngannou who was not capable of being an elite boxer, and unfortunately, this is the result. When you have a motivated former world champion who is still in his prime, this is what we were going to get 9 times out of 10, I think. The 10th being a crazy KO that Joshua wasn't prepared for. That was not going to be in the cards tonight, or that night, I should say. It sucks because there's a part of you that knows there's going to be a lot of people who are hating on Ngannou regardless, and I don't think that should be the case. But it's par for the course for this, combat sports environment that we all kind of indulge in.
Yeah, well, whatever
I'm
happened
glad.
is he's caught not one but two bags at the end of the day.
Exactly. That'd be the positive out of this, is that he got to do it. He got the opportunity, and his promotion that he's with at the PFL actually, hey, go do this. We'll be here when you're done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm imagining he's going to be done. We'll see.
I know K-Stacks, or Dana Black as he's calling himself these days, he was ranting about the fact that everyone's telling MMA fighters to quit once they've got the bag. But Francis has earned $20-30 million, I'm guessing. If he wants to fight,
Maybe
by
even
all,
more.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, he's got his pay-per-view points and everything else to come back on this one as well, I guess. So if he wants to continue fighting, that's up to Francis. But no one's going to think badly of him, I don't think. I think everyone would
No.
like to come back and have that one last PFL fight that he promised.
Yeah, at least one.
Yeah, but after that, free to do what the hell he wants. Become a full-time ambassador for PFL in Africa. Or
Yeah,
carry
I can
on.
see it.
Yeah, everyone would be happy either way. I was very impressed by AJ. To see somebody as like Francis, we've seen Francis whack with 4-ounce gloves and he hasn't gone down or not noticeably, and then AJ lands a full power punch on him in the full big boxing gloves and just sent him straight to the land of wind and ghosts. I know it was a follow up shot, but damn, that boy can throw some heat.
100%.
Did you guys see Luke Thomas said did a how did he win video very shortly after it and
Yeah,
pointed out Francis biting on feints with a huge kind of right hand parry that was just opening wide up, and I guess that's what AJ kind of landed on.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I don't know what you can say about this fight that hasn't already been said by Luke and DC like 4 times already. They've done multiple videos each on this before and after. You hate to see it. You hate to see it in one sense because after that Fury fight, Francis kind of allowed us all to sort of dabble in the land of make believe and what might be and what could be, and for a couple of months there, we all sort of got to dwell in this place where anything was possible, and who knows what the future holds, and he could be the next champion. And then, of course, the fight rolled around, and it played out the way that a lot of people expected the Fury fight to play out. I think that going into this one, a lot of people sort of thought that Joshua might just outbox Ngannou and avoid putting himself in harm's way. And it seemed like that might be the case when the first round was starting out. But you could tell as soon as he connected with that initial shot that put Francis down in the first, that it was kind of like an aha moment in his head. Like, oh, like I can touch this guy with this and I can really hurt him. And from that point, it was just the complexion of the fight was completely different. AJ looked very, very good. The dude can fucking crack. That was, like the commentary said during the fight, maybe one of the biggest shots I've ever seen in a boxing match. That was fucking obliteration. Good on Francis for securing the bag and chasing the dream. Happy for him. Happy for Nick Sick and all Dewey Cooper and everyone around him. He's got a really good team that surrounds him. But as far as what the future holds, I think that's entirely going to be up to him. And like you guys said, I hope that we get to see him at least one more time in MMA and get to see him compete in the PFL.
Okay, that's it from us at Just Bleed Radio. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll be back next week with our weekly roundup of 2 fat guys fighting at the Apex when Taito Ivasa takes on Marcin Tubera. Let's get out of here, guys. Thanks for coming. Apologies for being late. I'll know what bloody time zone you're in next week.